Mm-hmm. So when I put this together, it was like, I'm going to make this a place where when we hit the wall, we could get through the wall. Mm. So we created this team, and me and a couple of people came together. We put a formula together, and we did the credit repair. So they come to me, it doesn't work. Don't worry, we're going to fix it. Just follow my lead and you're going to be okay. Mm-hmm. Put them to the credit repair, repair or building side. And then once we get there, then we come back and you sit down with me. Now we're going to get you a car. Mm-hmm. But now guess what? Now you have just not only been able to get a car, you can broaden your horizons to anything else, right? Get yourself a house, you get some credit cards, you get yourself a personal loan, you can do whatever you want. Because credit is key. That's what it is, right?
When you first come in the game, look how they play. Then you at the top of the world, look how they wave to you. From Marcy to Madison Square, the only thing that mattered was just a matter of years. So, this hard work pay off when time is money, but you got the nerve to take a day off. So nigga, what you waiting for, the pussy or the Grammy? Anticipating gold like anticipating pennies.
Yo, it's your boy Just Prince.
It's your boy Benny Musa.
And we are the Balance Effect Podcast. Promoting business, entrepreneurship, and all that good stuff. We haven't had many females. We do have a better slogan, but it's fine. It works for right now. But we haven't had many female guests on the podcast other than our co-host, right? So when I reached out to this individual, I wanted to kind of, even though she's a little nervous, we're gonna make her feel as comfortable as possible today. Just wanted to highlight the things that she's doing within the community of Inwood and Dykeman, helping out the community. That's one thing we strive for. Everyone doesn't start off, at, the top. They have to come from somewhere, and we highlight those things. We highlight the process, and it's not just like, okay, we're highlighting any entrepreneur. We're highlighting people that are in the community and people that are actually doing things. So that's why we wanted to have you here. So we're here at the lovely Inwood Group auto leasing and credit repair site over here in Dykeman. And, we're here with none other. I want you to clap it up and give you a warm welcome to Jeritza from Inwood.
What's up, guys?
Inwood Leasing, man. So the reason why we wanted to have you here is because, one, we've been having I don't know if you saw the podcast, but we've been having we did like a men's mental health thing or whatever the case. And we were talking about certain things that we were doing with women and stuff like that. But, they were like, oh, what happened to, the woman entrepreneurs, a whole bunch of us. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to definitely tap in. And luckily, a good friend, a mutual friend of ours, Oneezy, shout out to him.
Hey, Oneezy.
Put me on, put us together and linked us up, and we wanted to do something real good. And that's why we're here today, to highlight you and the things that you're doing. So first of all, how you feeling today? I know you're kind of nervous, but
I'm good.
You good now? You good?
It's Friday.
You good? Okay.
Good. Yeah.
That's a good.
We sipping wine. We good.
Yeah, we got some wine going. Get the water. We're good.
Got the water going. Okay.
Got the water. Balance.
Okay. How's the work week been going? I know you said it was like beginning of the month is usually kind of slow, but
yeah, it's the month has been good. It's quiet at the beginning. The first 15 days are usually quiet for the most part. With most of my clients for many reasons. People like to spend their money at the beginning of the month, pay the bills, then they spend.
Right.
We've also been encountering shortages in vehicles, so it's making it a little challenging for the industry to just kind of like just flow how it usually flows.
Right.
We don't know how long it's going to last. Hopefully things will get better. We'll start seeing more cars, but work has been really tough, but we fight. We're gonna fight. And we're not gonna, drop.
Okay, so what we usually do on the Balance Effect Podcast is like we try to highlight the process, right? Where did you start off? Where did you grow up? Like talk about a little bit about your humble beginnings, and then we'll get to more of the present stuff.
Where did I start? So I was born and raised in the Heights, Washington Heights, on 60th Street. That was me. Was there for most of my childhood, all my childhood. And I grew up there. I went to school in the Upper West Side, though. My parents managed to get a little crack. There was you would know, you're in the DOE. So back in those days, there was, in District 3, there was a shortage of students. They didn't have enough students in the schools on the Upper West Side because your average family had their children in private school. So they were about to close the school. So a lot of parents in District 6, which is where I was raised, they went over down to the school and they spoke to the school. They helped the school rebuild. And then they brought a bunch of us kids from Washington Heights and, Hamilton Heights. And they brought us down there and they brought the school back up. And that's where I started. Like that was where most of my education was, down there. But other than that, I'm still Washington Heights. Then later on in life, my adulthood, my career, everything, like my transition as an adult was all in Inwood. So, which is where I grew this love and this passion for Dykeman and Inwood. And, this is where my fun years, my hard years, my heartbreaks, everything was up here. So this is a special place to be up here, overall.
So the community means a lot to you?
Absolutely. Right. It does mean a lot to me because, like I said, this is where I was broke. I learned a new industry. I started a career. I did everything here. So it was like from that A train to my house and just walking sometimes just up and down Broadway or up and down Seaman or, Post and all those places. This is where it was for me.
That's Dykeman. Dykeman was the one that made
me like, it was just who I am today and love it.
Right. So one of the things we try to tell our guests, or we ask our guests, is to give their own definition of what they feel an entrepreneur is or what entrepreneurship is. Can you kind of give us your own definition of what that is?
Gray hairs. Entrepreneurship is taking a passion, taking a love, anything you do, a niche, anything that you have that you feel is a talent for you, and attaching it to something that you love, right? I can tell you one thing. I never loved or thought that car sales was going to be it for me, or that was going to be my main goal. But I knew I loved people. I loved talking to people. I just walk in a place and I'm talking to everybody by the time I was leaving. And that's what sales is, right? That's like just selling yourself, talking and whatever. But definitely. I lost my chain of thought.
No, so good.
You're talking about entrepreneurship. Yeah. How you defined it? You said something about gray hairs and
the gray hairs. Yeah. Definitely the long night.
You talked earlier, and one of the things you talked about was the core value of it, which is pretty much helping people. So get into that. Like, how do you feel a rush off of just helping people with what you're doing?
I love it.
You have to. You have to love it. For me, it's a satisfaction, right? To just wake up in the morning, talk to one of my clients, and then, go through the process of selling the car, or even in the credit repair side, like just the process of the client from beginning to end, and just seeing that happiness from that client when they get that new car, the child in the house, the sibling, the mother seeing their kid get their first car, like just everything. It's gratifying. So it's definitely a big thing for me to like. To get up and push and do what I love, and which is help people. So in a whole, entrepreneurship is taking what you love, executing on it and delivering and getting whatever it is, whether it's monetary or just emotional satisfaction. That's just what it is. And hustle. This is all it is. You just got to get up and push, man. There's days that I don't want to get up.
Yeah.
There's days that I'm like, again. But then I know what the goal is. The goal is to execute and get to my people. My clients, my team. My team means everything to me.
Shout out to the team.
Shout out to my team. Shout out to Erica. Shout out to Kristen. Like, I know that if I don't get up and I don't show up, if I don't care, no one else is gonna care, right? I gotta come here. I gotta push. And when they're doubting themselves, or even when I'm doubting myself, we manage to come around and keep hustling and get and executing. That's it.
Okay. So talk about your parents as like the nucleus, your family's nucleus. How did that shape you to be who you are today? Because you got to get it from somewhere, right? You got to get a passion from somewhere, right? Yeah. And I feel like, coming from a Dominican household, you probably were like, yo, go to school.
Yeah.
Make sure you make something of yourself. If not, you're a failure.
Right.
So how did that shape you to be who you are today?
Well, watching both of my parents, right? Dominican, my father had bodegas, right? That's what that was it. So I had entrepreneurship in my household, but kid you not, had no passion and no thought that this was ever going to be what I was going to do.
Yeah.
But to see my dad every day get up, leaving, 8 in the morning, and then I'd be going to bed and he'd be walking in the door at 10 o'clock. You know what I mean? I'd get up and leave with my mother. My mother would go. My mother, she worked for the state for many years, and she managed to like get me and my sister going every day. We would go, go to school, come home, do homework. My mother would cook, and she didn't stop. Like it was nonstop. Like she was constantly like just grinding. I know now that I'm at the age that I am, I'm tired. I leave here and I can't even fathom what it would be to like go home and now start prepping a meal, deal with 2 kids, get them in the bath, do homework. Like, so that to me, every time I want to like not get out of bed, I push. So that's where my upbringing was. My parents never quit.
Yeah.
They always kept going, and, they succeeded. My mother came, my mother and my father, they both went to college here. My mother, English was her second language. Mm-hmm. And she managed to get a bachelor's degree, writing these papers with a Spanish-English dictionary, just translating, just writing a paper. So it's kind of like, that's hustle and that's succeeding. So how can I give up?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that's where it came from, the upbringing, just watching them go. And me and my sister, just watching it and following through and just following their footsteps.
Wow, that's powerful, man. I wouldn't. So, I like being a first generation Dominican. Like I know what it was, because like my mom doesn't even. She's been working her whole life. Like she's busting ass. Working sometimes 2 jobs to make sure my brother's straight.
Right.
And like stuff like that I can never repay her back for. But just being able to see her persevere and like push forward every day, you can't beat that. So I applaud your mom. Like, translating to
write a paper.
That's crazy. That's
kudos to her.
Yeah,
that's different.
Shout out to mom.
Yeah, shout out to all. Like, I feel like everyone in this room is a first generation. Like,
right.
And we all kind of seen that where like our parents are doing like incredible stuff, 2-3 jobs, coming home, still taking care of us. Like, I feel like that's where we all get that work ethic from, for sure. And that's something that we were talking about as well with you. Just again, going back to how the reasons why you're getting up every single day, or even like not being able to stop working, right?
Right. Disconnect.
Yeah.
That's hard.
That's tough. How is being a business owner, kind of shape the way your daily life is? Because you said it's like you don't punch in the clock, right? It's when you wake up till you close your eyes, right? Mm-hmm. So like how is that being, because people don't understand what does that entail when you work for yourself? Like we were saying, I want to be an entrepreneur, but do you know what it really means or what it takes to be one? So speak on a little bit about that.
My day-to-day, like my days are long. Days are long, like, they're long, but, my nights, they don't stop. We talked about this when we were on the phone. It was like the brain, like, he's like, oh, you don't sleep. I was like, I really don't, because the brain don't stop. You're constantly thinking, you're constantly how you're going to evolve, how you're going to do better. So, my day-to-day is rough. Like, I see my friends, I see my family late at night or, after a long day. And I push myself to do that too, because I just want to go home and maybe finish some other work that I couldn't finish at the office. So, it's constant. It's just constant work all the time. And it affects my daily life. It does. Mm-hmm. But, you got to kind of put your horse behind it and know that that's always going to be there. Whether it's people, events, or everything, those things will always be there. But the goal is to get this baby going and get them to a point where they're independent, or it's never going to stop. It's never going to be independent, right? But you want to get it to a point where it's functioning, and that your mother gave you enough, upbringing or food or whatever, so you can be okay. Mm-hmm. Right. And I feel like that's what this process is about.
That's intense. So that's my part for your humble beginners. I mean, we want to get into what is the Inwood Group.
What is Inwood Group? And how did it come together, right? Like, talk about that whole process for sure.
Inwood Group, it's a one-stop shop, right? It's a one-stop shop. It's an auto leasing, financing company, and credit repair. So you come in here, and your average person comes in here and they're just like, I just want a car. I need a car, right? 9 out of 10 people don't know what it takes or what the banks require, or et cetera, but it's not easy, but, so they walk in and they're like, your average person, I don't remember one place in school where they taught us about credit, right? They never taught us, this is what's going to happen when you turn 18. You get a credit card, you start building, you become something, and you can buy stuff with it. Mm-hmm. We never got that.
Right.
So your average person thinks, okay, I never had anything, so I have good credit, or I have credit. They walk in and like, I want a car. So then they can't get it, right? So now you're the bearer of bad news. So when I put the concept together, it was like, all right, when I was working in the Northeast Bronx, which was a majority of my career at Nissan, I I was encountering like, all right, it was good. I had a client come in and the client was coming to buy a car and I was like, all right, I'm gonna sell a car today. And then you get to the finance, I was like, yeah, no, they have no credit. So there goes my sale. So there goes my 6 hours of trying to sell this car to this person. So when I put this together, it was like, I'm gonna make this a place where when we hit the wall, we could get through the wall. So we created this team and me and a couple of people came together. We put a formula together and, you know, we did the credit repair. So they come to me, it doesn't work. Don't worry, we're going to fix it. Just follow my lead and you're going to be okay. Put them to the credit repair, you know, repair or building side. And then once we get there, then we come back and you sit down with me. Now we're going to get you a car. But now guess what? Now you have just not only been able to get a car, you can broaden your horizons to anything else, right? Get yourself a house, you get some credit cards, you get yourself a personal loan, you do whatever you want. Because credit is key. That's what it is, right? So yeah, so Inwood Group is just that one-stop shop where it's like a stepping stone to like, to broaden your horizons in the credit world or in the car world or to get your dream car. Yeah. Just walk in here, you say, hey, Jeritza, this is what I need. This is what I want. I want this white. I want the black wheels. I want the red calipers. I want this. I want that with the brown leather seats. Please make it happen. Yeah. And now I make it happen. I'll see you when I bring you the car. And then we'll talk again. We'll put a bow on top too.
That's fire.
Wow. Like you said so much. We talk about stepping stones. How did you go from working at Nissan to like now you have your own business? You know what I'm saying? Like talk about that. I think people need to know that from like people who are working every day just trying to figure out how do I get into my own situation? Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, it was not in the plans. It was not like I was like, all right, well, I'm my own company, I'm gonna leave Nissan and this is what I'm gonna do. No, absolutely not. So, you know, I was at Nissan selling my cars, doing my thing, and I was fine. Had a friend that has a leasing company as well. And he opened he opened a place and he was actually one of my first bosses in the industry. So tough. But he was one of my first bosses in the industry, Robbie. Shout out to Robbie. And he opened it up. I said, well, I have clients that are not buying Nissans, but I can still maximize on it. I said, can I send you those clients who sell the cars and just give me whatever you want to give me for that deal? So it's okay. So then I said, why don't you open one of those on Dykeman? And he looked at me and says, Dykeman, what's that? He's from Queens. He's like, Dykeman, what's that? And I was like, it's Uptown. It's like, it's Inwood. It's where I live. Like, it's nice up there. There's a bunch of people. There's schools. There's everything. Then he says, yeah, Jeritza, whatever. And he just kind of blew me off. About a few months later, he calls me up and says, hey, can you meet me at 4791 Broadway? I says, okay. I'll come right over. So I drove down. I came over here and he's like sweeping this place. And he's like, look, I did it. Told me to open the place. It's open. So you coming? And I was like, wait, hold on. It was just an idea. It wasn't to tell you to like go ahead and make it happen. Make it happen. So he makes it happen. And he's sweeping this place. He's like, so you're gonna quit Nissan, right? You're just gonna come and you're gonna work at this place? And I was like, all right, well, give me a few months. I was in the process of, you know, purchasing a home and, you know, doing all that. And I said, well, just give me a few more months. So I was still doing business with him and selling Nissans. When I wasn't selling Nissans, I was selling in, you know, his office and out here at this place. And once I was done with my purchase, I just went to the place, looked at my apartment. I was like, all right, I'm good. Put a t-shirt on. I showed up right here. I said, I kept my word. I'm here. I was done with Nissan. I came here. 8 months in, he's like, buy me out. I was like, I'm sorry, what? He's like, yeah, take over. Since you've been doing all the work, you know, you've been making this work, been growing this place. So I was like, absolutely not. I'm good. I'm good. I clock in and I clock out for you. Remember, this is nowhere in my dreams was to be an entrepreneur. I was running the place, but it was not my dream. So we fought every day. We fought back and forth, and I would cry, and I'd tell him, no, I'm not doing this. And he's like, no, you got to do this. You can do this. Do it. And he pushed me to do it until we just executed, and then, you know, then this baby was born. So now we got Inwood Group, and Inwood Group is here. You know, we're going on 4 years now. You know, I still fight every day. You know, hustle is hard, but you know, I don't give up. Every day I push to make sure that what I was forced to do, I'm gonna make sure it's gonna be what it's. Because now I'm an entrepreneur. Now I'm in. That's it. I'm in. There's no running away from it. I'm here. So I'm gonna give it as much as I got till the wheels fall off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my way in. Push, shoves.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so grateful for it every single day.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. So now you have Inwood Group and you're helping people get cars, but from what you just said, it's not even about the cars. What it's really about is credit. So could you just tell the people out there, like, you know, what is like the significance of credit repair and how you're sort of like going about helping people, you know, get on the right track?
Credit repair is a great thing because you get a second chance, right? Mm-hmm. Or you get it, you get a chance to start all over if you've made mistakes, or you just, you know, you have no idea.
Right.
So credit is important. It's just so important. I didn't know, right? It was just like, all right, I went to school, took out loans, messed that up, this, you know, what your average American goes through.
Yeah. I have school loans.
Yeah.
100K.
Yes, that's terrible. I'm almost done. I can't wait. But, you know, it's important because the only way to move, like I've had clients that walked in the door and like, well, you know, I've got $350,000 in the bank, but I've never taken out credit just because, I mean, first generation, that's all they talk about. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, but I've got money. I got this in the bank. I got that. And it's like, so I want a car, but I want to keep my $350 in the bank. So I never use my credit so I can get a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't realize the importance. They don't educate us, like I said earlier. Right. We don't go to school and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, you know, as they're teaching us chemistry and marketing and all the other things that
don't mean nothing.
You know what I mean? They're not giving us, they're not pushing us the right way in life to grow.
Design. It's a design.
Absolutely, 100%, which is where the credit repair comes in, right? Mm-hmm. It's a system, right? But it's important because it's liberating. When you have good credit, it's liberating. Mm-hmm. You know, you have any inconvenience and you're like, where do I go? But you're like, you don't stress if you have good credit, right? You walk into your nearest branch and you're saying, oh, hey, so I need to borrow $15,000. Can you help me? And it's 1, 2, 3, walk in, walk out, you sign. Mm-hmm. But if you're not, you're looking for a second job, you're looking for a third job, you're looking for a gig, you're trying to figure out how you're going to make this work. So credit is definitely way more important than cash. Mm. You know, cash is good, yeah, for a quick thing. That's all it is.
Right.
But it appreciates.
Right, it appreciates. So, you know, credit definitely gets you where you need to be in life, and you can obtain more. So, and that's what's important.
Mm-hmm. What I was going to ask was, I think that was something that I feel like you should touch on would be the importance, like the advantages as an entrepreneur, as having your, you know, difference between, you know, self-employed or what's the other one, LLCs, S corps, C corps, stuff like that. What are the advantages as an entrepreneur to have those things for credit purposes, tax purposes, right? Yep. You know, talk about that a little bit.
Well, first, I think that when you choose whether you're going to do a LLC, if it's an S corp, you know, all those things, you need to. It all depends on the industry that you're going with it. So, right. You know, for example, LLC, you know, you don't pay taxes on your profit. So, and then you don't fill out. You know, you get taxes. You know, you get a tax form for your personal self, where the company, you're not you know, it's all on the company. You know, you're not liable for anything if anything. I mean, I'm sure there's small print in between somewhere, but. Mm-hmm. You know, for the most part, that's the gist of it. You know, S corp, there's tax advantages where you pay city taxes, but you pay less taxes and other things. So there's different little things, but I think that for the most part, and it's not necessarily my favorite part of being an entrepreneur, but it's good to know, right? I never forget. I'd be talking on the phone with my accountant. I'm like, yeah, what does that mean? And I'm like, you know, Googling things, you know, but yes, these are things that you talk to your accountant, but you also figure out that what benefits the industry that you're in, because maybe in the food industry, you're better off having an LLC, you know, because there's way more liabilities of, you know, your patrons or your guests or whatever, you know, so every industry deserves should have a different type, whether it's an S corp, a C corp, and so on and so forth, depending on, you know, your tax, what benefits you taxes with earnings and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, that's a crazy breakdown, because we go over that lightly, but the way you broke it down really makes like even more sense. Like if you are into food, then you should have an LLC versus someone who's probably dealing with a lot of not customers, but they have a lot of people that they're trying to hire. Should probably go for an S corp.
An S corp, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. That's dope. So moving on, right? We wanted to talk about more about the community aspect of it because while you're an entrepreneur, you do somebody that wants to pay it forward, right? You're very involved with Watch Tyson, Dykeman in particular. This is where your business is. Right. So we wanted to touch on, some of the things that you're doing in the community, how you're paying it forward. Not only the credit and the credit repair and the auto leasing, because a lot of people, they want to have a nice car. They want to be able to drive in a nice little BMW, nice Audi like someone was, right? So talk about how you're paying it forward to the community.
Well, first and foremost, I feel like you should always, give back where you make, right? Because they support me. I have to give back in some way, somehow. I don't have to, but I want to. I need to. It goes back to that gratification, that good feeling for just seeing, happiness or gratification on the other people's side, like people, Yeah. But yeah, so we're in year 2, Oneezy. Shout out to Oneezy again. We did the turkey drive this year. A couple, we did. Well, that's where we met, actually. We met there. So it's the second year. This year we did almost 200 turkeys with a couple of businesses in the community. We got some produce, and we give back. We try to do it as much as possible. We get the phone call, hey, we want to donate, some food to you guys. And we just grab a U-Haul, we jump on the truck, and whether it's a 90 degrees or 10 degrees, we're going and we get it and we just pop up shop. Here we go. And people in the community come. So I definitely, when I initially came into the community, even when my friend was here, it was like, no, I want to come there. I want to educate the community. I want to give back to the community. There's so many things. I remember my first 3 months, the school across the street was having their first year prom for their first graduating class. And it was just like, well, is there anything I can do? And they're like, well, the kids want a photo booth, but we can't afford it. So we managed in 12 hours, we made it happen and got they had like a boat prom or something like that on the West Side Highway. And we got the photo booth over there. So those type of things are always good because it's not so much so they can, oh, no, you did a good thing. It's just so you know that you did the good thing and you were able to help and make these kids happy. You know what I mean? And last year, we actually did our first annual Kicks for Kids. So we linked up with Inwood Community Services. And we got 39 children, sneakers and socks. We didn't realize how important socks were until we did this and we did a little bit of reading behind it. But yeah, so it's just good to come back and just give to the community because they give to you, right? They walk by or they just wave and just say, hey, they know you there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's always good to let them know that we know they're there, which is important.
Right. No, that's dope. For paying it forward.
Yeah.
So as a community leader, as a focal point, right? You're even part of some of the associations within Dykeman, in particular the Merchant Association here. What are some of the things that you want to see change? Like some more changes that you would like to see within the community. Let it be, more cameras and stuff like that come up here to highlight some of the stuff that you guys are doing.
Those fast cameras. Not those cameras. I thought you meant the 25 mile an hour cameras. No more of those.
No, not those.
Don't give me more of those.
Not those. We know. We don't want those.
We don't want those.
But as far as what are some changes that you want to see that benefit the community? Because, there's been some, in recent years, some things that have gone on that haven't, been for the community, right? There's stuff we deal with, just like in Harlem, we deal with a lot of the gentrification and, the changing of the community. But, it was us. We're the ones that made the community desirable, right? Nobody was trying to live here.
Yeah, no one cares.
25 years ago, right?
No one cares.
Now it's like,
it's like, they want this. They want everything. They want our space.
Right. So talk about some of the changes that you would like to see in the community.
Well, since we were talking about credit and stuff, but one of the most important things that I think would be good to see in the community, right, is more resources for the people in the community, right? We have first generation and stuff like that, but you go to more resources so we can have like get loans and things like that where things are more obtainable, right?
Right.
So kind of going back to the whole credit thing, right? So if you have, our small businesses, there were so many grants and so many things, and a lot of our business owners weren't able to obtain any of those things, whether it was because their books weren't up to date, because they were, the lack of education, the financial literacy, like all that stuff it affects our community. So, my goal is to like touch as many people as I can to help them with that. When I joined the Inwood Merchant Association, it was like, all right, well, if I can educate and bring what I've learned, because my parents didn't teach it to me. I just learned as I go, trial and error, selling these cars, people with bad credit. And I just figured it out, right? For the most part, I'm learning every day. I don't have anything figured out. But so I would like to see more, you go further south, and they have the, further south in the city, they have the resources, they're educated, their parents left the money, they were educated, they were built, they were 18 with their parents' credit cards on there, you know what I mean? So they had that, whereas as for us, we have to learn through trial and error. Right. So I think that what I would love to see in this community is for us to get more resources, more resources where maybe they can't afford it, but it's brought in for free to educate us, to have to help our local business owners so they can stay open with all the gentrification coming in. You know what I mean? So if they had more financial or credit, or financial means, they would be able to sustain and maybe stay open longer. You know what I mean? Because you walk down Broadway, and you see how many gates are down. Yeah.
Right. No. Yeah. It's a lot. It's affected a lot of businesses. Just the rents. I'm like ridiculous. Right. I'm like, what?
Like, what?
And it's crazy because you have a lot of those people that are coming up from downtown. Yes. And they don't mind being in a 3-bedroom apartment with 6 people paying $4,000 rent.
Sharing one bathroom or 1.5 bathrooms.
That's like, nah, and it's crazy, but, we were the ones that made it desirable for them to come up here.
100%.
We had the let it be the sauce, whatever we want to say, the flavor, sazon, I don't know whatever they say, to make these communities. Right, it's a hustle. It's like,
we had a vision. Exactly. We had the means too.
Right.
Because no one funded, no one came and said, oh yeah, okay, here we bring this to Inwood and give this to Dykeman and put one of those places up. No, nobody gave it to us. It was us.
Right. Right, and I've done a lot of partying up here, so a lot of partying up here. But so transitioning over, like we try to highlight people. We also want to inform them, right? We also want people want to get entertained, right? So for them to get a little bit more of an idea of the other side of Jeritza, we actually we play this game or like this or that, right? Where we ask you a series of questions and you pick either or, and I ask you why, right?
Okay.
So it's not any crazy questions. So,
all right.
Because before you be like, what? I wasn't.
I'm like, wait, can you warn me?
Nah. Let's
go. I'm ready. I'm ready.
It's cool. All right. Go ahead. First question, man.
All right. Beamer, Benz, or Bentley?
My pocket's super empty. Let me think. Beamer, Benz, or Bentley. Wait, did you see that new Porsche? That Taycan. Did we not talk about that Porsche?
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Green.
That's
the way to go.
But that's not the question, Jeritza.
Fine.
But the Porsche, I don't know. It trumps on him. I figure on that.
Beamer versus Bentley. We just talked about it. I think I'm gonna go Beamer because that's what I'm transitioning. We talked about this, and I'm gonna just give this to you. Beamer. Beamer.
All right. Next question.
All right. Cold cash or credit?
Oh, you know where I'm going with that, right? Yeah. I might have answered, but let me say it again. Credit. Credit's the way to go.
All right, this is a funny question. This is a funny question.
Yeah. All right.
It was trending on Twitter. So,
$500K or dinner with Jay-Z.
Dinner with Jay-Z. I can make the $500K after dinner. Yeah, I can make it.
Yeah.
He's gonna teach me.
That's the first person that said that. You're the first person that said that. Everybody said, nah, they said.
They have said that because it's like, if you're smart, you ask them the right question.
You ask them the right question, you're going to have the answer, right?
Yeah.
What I'm saying, like, as far as on the podcast, most people,
really?
the first person.
They want the
everyone's like, no. I'll take the $500K, I'm going to flip that shit.
What's his net worth?
His net worth is almost $1 billion.
Okay.
Yeah.
$500K. Yeah. I'm gonna learn how to make that just off like before the appetizers come out. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
That's a fact.
Okay. See, hustle. All right, cool. Sounds good. Next question.
Villa in Punta Cana. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Punta Cana.
Wow, see, you got me asking the questions.
Nah, bro. I mean, but you always ask the questions, bro. I mean, you didn't want me. You wanted me. I was trying to like get you to introduce you. Like, no. The same way. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
right.
If it ain't broke,
that's the motto. That's the motto.
Cool. I know that's right.
Cool. Or a loft in Tribeca.
Have you seen the prices?
Yeah, crazy.
I could buy Punta Cana with the loft in Tribeca.
I don't know now, but
I mean, no, that might be a little too extreme.
But you could definitely buy a nice little villa. Though.
I could buy a nice villa, right?
Yeah, nice villa. But which one you at doesn't matter.
Oh, so I can't like be like torn. I mean, I gotta do either or.
You gotta do either or. Oh.
Yeah.
Or you take a shot.
Yeah, you take a shot. First person to take a shot
on the Balance Effect podcast. That's crazy. Next question.
All right, this actually, I'm very curious about this one. Lease or finance?
Lease.
She's smart. Why?
100%. First and foremost, there's no interest.
Okay.
No brainer.
Yeah.
Light bulb. See, that's free game, right?
Yeah.
No interest whatsoever. What era we living in? How often do we stay with these? Right. People leasing phones.
Yeah.
Right? So what's wrong with it being a car? It's a depreciating asset. It doesn't gain any value in any sense of the way. And we're living in an era where it's like it's expensive to repair, let's say, right? Like the other day, our printer broke down. And I'm like, oh man, so I go buy another printer. I'm like, oh, well, let me go fix it. Maybe we do whatever it takes the printer to go get fixed. The other day's like, I mean, we could fix it, but you might as well buy a new one. So it was just like the same thing with the vehicle, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you're leasing a car, it's under warranty. You just go, hey, this is wrong with the car. They fix it, you know, and you don't have to pay because of the warranty. If you own a car, hey, you guys are shelling out money. And the whole point, right, especially in New York City, it's a luxury to have a vehicle. It's not a necessity at all. We have buses, trains around the clock. So yeah, leasing is definitely the way to go because also technology, right? Yeah. So you imagine right now you were driving a 1998 Honda Accord and you got the Apple, what are we at, 14 now? 13?
Yeah, 13,
right?
Almost 14.
Almost, yeah, right. Yeah, so you got a 14 and it's like, all right, well, I want to hear this song on my Apple Music. Absolutely not. So technology is just going to take over. So as our phones evolve, the vehicles are going to evolve and it's just less liability.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my second question is it cheaper month to month for a lease versus
100%? It is because you're not paying interest.
Right.
You're just paying what you're using. That's it. You're paying. Okay. You're paying as you go. You're paying as you go, and then after 3 years, you still have the choice to get it, keep it.
Yeah, if you want,
you can.
Yeah.
At that point, then you decide. But you have more options in a shorter span of time, whether tying yourself up for a longer span of time and pay interest.
Ladies and gentlemen, that Porsche is mine.
Right. So here's the question though. Would you want to keep, after that 3 years, would you want to keep that car after 3 years after you probably beat that car driving all the way?
Never.
Don't ask me.
And statistically proven, after 3 years, a finance client wants a new car.
Right.
Statistics, right? Numbers numbers don't lie ever.
Right.
So.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. You want me to ask this question?
Go ahead. Yeah.
You sure?
Is this a complicated one?
Yeah, it might be. I'll do the spicy ones.
You asked that. You asked that. I didn't get in trouble for that. No, you asked that.
I'll get in trouble. I don't care. So basically, since going back to the whole mental thing that we did or whatever, talking about trauma, women dealing with all that stuff, right? So are women?
It's about to get spicy.
Asset or a liability?
Yo! Wow. Women ask another. All right, wait, no. So 9 out of 10. First of all, I'm a woman. I'm only gonna be like, woman power, whatever. Right. But 9 out of 10, the brains behind any operation is a woman, right? Okay. Every successful man is a woman, right? I'll never forget my mother. I'll make this short. My mother in the 70s told my dad, like, listen, go buy this building down in Soho. It's like $100, like something ridiculous. And I'm sure my dad had it. And she's like, go buy this building downtown in Soho. And he said no. And we leave it there, right? Because you already know where the story goes, right? Where the building would be now.
Right. What was that line? What was that line Jay-Z said in that song? That he could have bought a house in Dumbo.
Oh, yeah.
He said no.
He didn't buy the building.
He didn't buy the building in Dumbo for $8 million. Now that same house in Dumbo's worth 25 million.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
25 million.
Yeah.
Dumbo.
Dumbo.
Yeah, like, Yeah, I remember that. All right, cool.
So to answer the second half of the question is, I'm from Uptown.
Yeah.
So yes, I have my share of things. Yeah, so women are a liability sometimes.
Okay.
It all depends.
Okay.
They don't. So we can do a little bit of both.
That's
All right, that's fair.
That's fair. All right.
That's fair and that's a fact.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
Yo, shout out to
I got
Gabe
my
for
share of
bailing me out.
stories, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen,
Shout out to my Dykeman girls. We love you.
yeah, but they want their nails done.
Oh
Nails done
man.
and all that stuff too at the same time. So yeah.
Is that when you take the shot?
No. Not taking any shots.
Right.
Nah. Oh man, go ahead. Next question, bro.
Nice.
If you could only have one Dominican dish for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Wow. The Dominican flag, arroz chole carne.
Oh yeah, that's lit.
And then the aguacate, you just bring the rice, beans, and the chicken, and that's it.
See,
I'm
Simple.
with that.
I wouldn't be aguacate. They'd probably be like, maduros. Or something.
Maduros, yeah. You have
But
friends that eat like, they eat some with like an actual banana.
I eat a banana.
Yeah, I'm
that's
to.
lit.
That's a thing, right?
mad hot
That's
sauce.
sweet sauce.
Oh,
Really?
oh,
That's new.
Yeah. Well, just if it's steak. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you need the hot sauce with steak.
Right. All right.
For sure.
All right. Next question.
All right. An 800 credit score or $3 million in the bank.
Dun, 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 dun.
3 million sounds a lot. Like sounds good, right? Very
Nice.
enticing. But you can obtain more than 3 million with an 800 score.
800, okay.
Facts.
Okay.
Okay.
The interest you're gonna earn on 3 million is not gonna be remotely close to what you can do with 800.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact.
Well, if you have it in a bank, you have it in a regular bank, but if you have it like in an index fund.
That gets all complicated and
Right,
stuff.
right,
You know,
right. That
with
wasn't
the
a
index
question,
fund,
right.
the index fund goes under the market, and market's all funny.
Yeah. She's safe. She likes to play safe. All right, cool. Next question.
Oh, okay. This is going. If you weren't selling cars, what would your passion be? What would you want to pursue?
A singer.
No, I hear this raspy. This is hard,
Romeo
man.
did it.
Who?
Romeo did it.
He sure did, right?
Yeah. Everybody loves his voice.
Yeah.
Sure do.
Never say never.
That's true. But I can't sing.
All right.
I wish. It's probably quicker. I'd be a lawyer. That was my thing, right? I was that one kid in the house that always had something to say, always had an answer, always whatever. So I think it would definitely be lawyer, which is, I'm kind of doing it, right? Because I go back and forth, debate pricing with my clients, go back and forth, and speaking of my community, right? Voice.
Going to bat for them.
Going to bat for them. So yeah, that would be it. I just, that was always another backup plan. I just didn't want to do all that schooling. Right. It's a lot of work. And a lot of debt.
A lot. Yep. Average law school costs like $70,000. Easy. And that's 2 years of that. So.
Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next question.
Last question. If you had to change one thing about yourself for the better, what would it be?
Balance.
No pun intended.
Balance.
No, plenty of pun. That's a pun intended. Right?
No, what I'm saying. That's the podcast.
Oh, right. There you go. Balance. My inner circle, they complain like, "Oh, you do is work. Oh, I go on vacation. I said this to you earlier. I said I move. I don't care if I'm going to the store. I got my book bag on with my laptop. And I think my biggest complaint from my family, my closest friends, and everyone is like, you need to stop work. You need to disconnect. So I just need to learn how to balance that out. How to actually live as well. So, I'm working on it. It's a goal. It's something that I'm working on, but this is my baby. This is what I get up for. This is what I strive for. This is what I fight for. And we're group every single day. That's all I have. No kid. This is my kid. So, I'm working on it, but that would it's just to learn how to manage my work-life balance, my life, the balance between the two, because I'm an extremist on both.
Right.
When I live, I live. But when I work, I'm working. And that's it. Head down.
That's hard. You should make that a t-shirt.
You should.
When I live, I live.
I got this.
Word. I'm head down.
That's it.
That's dope.
All day.
That's dope, man. So, that concludes my questions. That round, it was fun. I hope it wasn't too spicy.
No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was good. It was good. It was good. It was good. It was good.
Take one shot.
No, it was good though. It caught me a little bit off guard, but it was good.
All right, cool. But any last remarks you want to give to the people where they could come here to if they need anything from from Inwood Group, just, give your shout outs, socials and stuff like that. I'm going to let you do that.
We're here 5 days a week. We're here 10 to 6. My girls are here. My team is here. We got Erica. Shout out to Erica, Kristen, Erica's and the girls, they've been rocking with me since day one. Mm-hmm. They don't give up on me. Some days I come in here and it's like, uh-oh. And they don't give up. You know what I mean? Shout out to Onizi for introducing me to you guys. Mm-hmm. You guys are great.
Right. Appreciate you.
From the moment I spoke to both of you individually, it was great. And shout out to Inwood Dykeman. Shout out to everything. I've made it. I've made it here almost 4 years, and it. It's the hard work and the people and the support, and that's it.
Right,
hustle.
All right, where's it located? So if anybody wants to come check it.
Yes, if you want to come check us out, we're 4791 Broadway between Academy and Cummings, and we're here. Anything you need, just reach out at Inwood Group, at J All Day. Mm-hmm. I'm here. Find me all day.
Heard you.
Thank you so much, guys. It was a pleasure.
It was
a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Let's clap it up. Today's podcast with Jeritza from Inwood Group.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in with us. Until next time.
I'm feeling your pain. It's part of the hustle. Think with your mind. Do work with your muscle. A beautiful Janet. Poetic justice. A broke nigga. End of discussion. See money talks. You niggas talk too much. All that hating sound.